Has 2020 been a stressful year for you? In this episode of SpirLift, we discuss how to enter into 2021 new and refreshed. So stay tuned. Before we get started, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video as it greatly helps expand our message, and also that you be notified when we have new episodes uploaded. 2020 has been an extremely challenging year, to say the least. And as we try to go into 2021, we want to feel that there will be a different energy, more positive, and we can be our better selves going into this next year. And today I have the fortunate honor to speaking to an expert who can give us some great guidance into how to feel new and alive going into a new year of 2021. In this episode of SpirLift, I'll be speaking with Selina from Ireland. She is a holistic health coach with a background in nutritional therapy, Ayurveda, nutrition, consulting. Is that correct?
Yep.
Bioenergy, a wide range of holistic wellness and professional creative cookery with over 12 years of unrivaled experience in the health and wellness world. She's extremely passionate about her work and how she can really help people on a deeper level and truly embody this way of living. Selina, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on this episode of SpirLift, and welcome.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it, and I'm so happy to be speaking to someone from Ireland. I love Ireland, so we already talked about that before starting this interview, so thank you so much, Selina. Selina, I want to start off by, expressing, and I think this undoubted sentiment that everyone around the world, not specific to any one country virtually, maybe some who are isolated on some beach somewhere and don't have to worry about COVID, which they're very lucky, wants to feel positive going into 2021 and get over this drag of what has been 2022. There's been some silver linings from people. People have felt positive in certain aspects that they maybe haven't had. People know how to cook better, I'm sure, or at least pour the milk better in the cereal, what have you, so. But to say the least, and through my experience of speaking to several people throughout 22 personally, it's just been an overwhelming burden of anxiety, stress, and depression. And the whole intention of starting SpirLift has been to speak to people like yourself, to be able to give valuable, important insight into how we can be on a journey to become our better selves, one day at a time. So can you please give our viewers and listeners on podcast platform more of a deep insight into your work and what you do, please?
Yeah, so 2020 has definitely been challenging for everybody, and it's kind of like forced everybody to retreat a little bit inside of themselves. And in this retreat mode, a lot of things can come to the surface and kind of making us see, that our happiness really comes from inside, that it's not reliant on an outside source or outside distraction or something like this, that you are actually in control of your own happiness. And although this year has been difficult and some difficult things may arise, it's always taking the positive out of the experience and, realizing that it's a chance to look at these things and see them and to let them go and kind of move past them and really figure out what makes you feel good, and moving your body, because we've been very stagnated and there's a lot of stuck energy inside at the moment, and really to get things moving and to move past these feelings is really to start moving your body really slowly, just to get things moving, and if you're wondering where to start in your health journey, because this year might have been a bit of an upheaval, and there's a lot of change, and there's a lot of things that aren't in your norm going on, that maybe too much change isn't so good for you at the moment as well. So really being gentle with yourself and seeing the level where you are and meeting yourself at that level and working with yourself slowly, to move past it. So, it's even like, making small little steps, so you're feeling better in your body and better in your mind and happier in yourself, being gentle and just like, just doing slow little things. So the first thing I would recommend is to look after your self-care, like self-care and rest and being in nature, just finding things that calm you down, natural calming, and just gentle exercise and drinking more water. And, when you work on these little things, it's the small steps that are going to get you further, because sometimes when there's a lot of like stress and anxiety and overwhelm in the world, if you take on something that's too big of a task, it can kind of halt your progress, and you can just become a little bit resistant to it. So yeah, just really being gentle with yourself, seeing where you are, seeing what your next level is, what you can do every day, and just working on bringing in little steps, little habits, building yourself like a solid foundation, so then you can go from there. And it's to do with all your senses as well. So like really seeing what you're feeding your senses. It's not just what you're eating. It's also like, what you're seeing, what you're reading, what you're hearing, who you're talking to, what you're spending your time doing, so it's like really looking at all your senses and looking at everything that you take into your internal environment and how that's affecting the way you're feeling,
So it sounds like a lot of reflection, first of all, and then a lot of internalization of what's making you feel good, not feel good, decipher those things, and focus really on obviously the good part. Because I think and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's really important, the particular point that you made about there being kind of this trapped energy. And I actually do experience that myself on certain days, just like, because our way before, let's say pre-COVID, we're used to moving our body a lot more in general. I think having the energy move in its own natural way, natural form, through walking and exercise and doing several other activities, ultimately is a good thing for your body. But now, because of COVID and its restrictions and having less availability and proximity of being outside, it's more difficult, and that trapped energy can be a lot more detrimental to us in general.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's definitely, and like it's even, because a lot of people are working from home at the moment, so then they're even maybe not missing the commute, but they're missing the break between home and work. This is moving, this is changing your reality, changing your, what you see, what you look at, all the little things that you see along the way. And yeah, everything is just getting a little trapped. And when things aren't moving, it can cause like energetic blockages within the body. You can hold on to trapped emotions, and this is kind of like most health issues or conditions start at an emotional level before they manifest in the physical. So it's really important to get some gentle moving in there. And like a lot of people are feeling like unmotivated or maybe losing a little, like, they don't have the will, to get out and to get moving. So you can just really do it really simply by getting on a mat on your floor in your bedroom and just doing simple stretches and starting from there. Really like tune into where you are and at your level and go from there. So if you're starting with 5 or 10 minutes of stretching, simple stretching, or like lying on the floor and doing simple exercises like this, and then keep going from there. Every day do a little bit more, and every day do a little bit more.
That's really, really, really good advice. That's a very important thing, especially that I find as well when I start my day doing stretches. Like my morning routine normally consists of stretching, having a glass of water, grateful prayers that I do each and every day. And when I do all that, I'm ready to go. So, but again, this year has really put people in a back seat to feel actually motivated to get on with their day in general, day by day. So that's, you know, it really does take willingness to do these things. And we really encourage our viewers to do it if you haven't, and just really push yourself if you haven't, motivate yourself if you haven't, and get a connection with somebody, maybe a relationship with somebody, motivate each other. I think that can help a lot too, especially in these circumstances. And how does nutrition play a factor into all this, Selina? Because it seems like you have a good background, and part of the work you do has to do a lot with the importance of nutrition in our daily life. So can you explain a little bit more about that and how you're involved in that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like nutrition is very personal, but basically like when you're feeding your body with the things that it needs, you're going to energize your body, you're going to support your body in the ways that it needs. It's going to help with your focus and your concentration, and then it'll affect your mood and how you're feeling as well. It affects your sleep, it affects everything really, So, and exercise and nutrition really go hand in hand together. Like the two of them really should be one, in my opinion, right. Because, they just work so well together, and they just complement each other. And from there, then everything else is a little bit easier. So, and it's kind of unique for everyone, their specific nutrition. Obviously, like, eating well is good, but, it's different for everyone as well. So it's kind of like really tuning into your own body and figuring out what works best for you as well. And like nutrition can help relieve lots of symptoms and ailments. And if you're suffering from like discomfort or pain, it can really like correct some imbalances that you might have just taking on as normal. You could be like just getting used to these aches and pains and bloating and symptoms, headaches as normal. But when you kind of correct the nutrition, so your body is reacting well to the food that you're giving it, your body's going to come alive and it's going to want more, and then it kind of starts from there. And yeah, correct nutrition can really balance with your hormones and stabilize your weight and your mood, increase your energy, and even help with like fertility or balance like, some hormonal problems like PCOS or diabetes, so there's lots of benefits to like really looking after your nutrition and finding out what makes your body like energized. So, sometimes it's not really like a blanket diet, that fits everybody. So it's really finding out what makes your body come alive and what energizes you, what foods make you feel good, and what foods your body is positively reacting to.
Well, for me personally, and this is not going to be good advice at all, but I really like Pringles chips and hummus, so and peanut butter. So I I don't know if I feel good when I eat that like almost each and every day. So I don't recommend that at all. But what are especially going back to this dilemma that most of us probably feel around the world with having this trapped energy, not being able to release it as much as we have been able to these last months of this year of 2020. What are some general, just from your professional purview, what are some general things that we could or should be intaking each and every day to keep our energy levels up and just keep our minds, I guess, more focused in a way? Like, what things could we be eating that are just like? Yeah,
I think like definitely water, and a good quality water. So this is important to like kind of clean your system every morning. If you have some people that might have trouble like drinking water or remembering to drink water, everyone knows that we need to drink water, but sometimes it can be a little bit hard. So I would just put it into place where you already have habits or routines, like before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner. So if you have like one big glass of good quality clean water and just drink it before you eat, it's going to cleanse your system. It's going to help get everything moving. It's going to energize your cells, so everything is just going to be working a bit more smoothly. And, some people kind of get confused between hunger and thirst. So when your body is actually looking for water, you think you're hungry. So it's kind of getting confused. So yeah, water would be a good thing. The next thing would be just to have like, steady meals at certain times of day. So kind of bring your body into a routine. And I think this is really important at the moment because there's no like routine or there's no structure kind of in the outside world. So what you can do is bring a bit of structure and routine to your internal world. So your body is feeling calm, your body is feeling safe, your body knows it's going to eat at a certain time. You're not kind of putting additional stress on your body by putting it into starvation mode or leading it into starvation mode. So just have regular meals, have set meal times, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So your body can just stay calm and stay like nourished and just full until the next meal. So this will kind of calm your blood sugars and calm your energy, calm your body levels during the day. And then looking at just winding down properly in the evening. So kind of looking at your stimulants throughout the day. So stimulants are like caffeine or sugar or tobacco or alcohol or, things like this. So kind of reducing these around like 3 or 4 p.m. so your body can, process them and still wind down in the evening. So it's kind of like looking at ways to like bring a lot more calmness to the body. So the body's not dealing with internal stress, so it's just really making everything easier for the body.
And are there any particular foods that you would recommend that are specifically good for keeping our immune system really, I guess, either intact, heightened, or just functioning really well, just to fight off certain illnesses, obviously, COVID, and other things like that?
Yeah, so at the moment with immunity, like the thing is, there's a few parts to it. So obviously there's food that you can do, but the top things I would look out for at the moment is make sure that you're getting like a restful sleep and reducing stress and reducing sugary foods, because these will deplete your nutrient stores and it's gonna like kind of deplete your immune system. So these are like the top three. So self-care, sleep, and reducing sugar. And then so lots of foods that you can bring in. So like if it's cold in Ireland at the moment, so it's winter time. So what's really good is like warming, hearty food, foods that are cooked in liquid that are really highly nourishing. So like soups, broths, stocks, herbs. You can use lots of like antiviral herbs in your cooking, like oregano, rosemary, parsley, sage, garlic, ginger. These are all like anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, so it's really good to have just foods that are going to heat up your system and keep your internal digestive fire hot and strong. And so what else you could do? Like curries are really good, like lots of warming, gingery kind of spicy food, not necessarily chili spice, but just warming spice like ginger and cinnamon and clove, and your body will really react to this and it's going to love it because it's going to feel nourished, it's going to feel calm, it's going to feel like warm. So it's kind of like adapting to the seasons as well. So I don't know what the weather is like with you.
No. Well, all that sounds amazing. I'm getting really hungry right now thinking about all that. So, but yeah, I think anyone, has, wherever they are in the world, has some version of that or something that, they could hopefully purchase from their supermarket in whatever capacity that is, you know, in this era, you know, to make those kind of things and include those kind of ingredients, because I think it's absolutely imperative what you're saying. And I mean, it does make a difference. It really, really does make a difference when you do eat well like that, when you do get those, when you do prepare things well like that. I mean, not all of us are cooks, but I mean, there's definitely not a lack of information out there in videos to learn. I mean, it's this, and I really think it's a really big theme. It seems like this year is really testing each and every one of us of what we're willing and not willing to do in a way, you know, because it's like, I mean, I'll tell you, like here in Mexico, it's commonplace for certain people to be able to hire someone to cook, to clean. It's affordable. I mean, depending on your economic background, things like that, but it's manageable, right? So I mean, in my situation, wouldn't have to worry as much about that before, you know? I mean, I did in college, I mean, but not for several years now. So that's a whole learning curve, you know? Oh, or relearning, you know, let's say, you know, not just the peanut butter toast anymore. So, I mean, I really, really encourage everyone watching this or listening to this to really take action. It's almost like a call to action. It's like, these are things that can really help you. You know, you make these type of meals, they can really help you. You have certain routines or exercises or stretches. These are things that really make your body and your mind feel alive, you know? So important.
Yeah, and food can really comfort you, you know, and I think that's the big thing with food is like, you know, we reach for it as a comfort or under stress as well, but like to really feel comforted and nourished, like your body's really going to react well to like a home cooked meal, something that like your grandma cooked, or you know, something like this, you know, your body's just going to react and love it, you know, and feel nourished and feel cared for and feel comforted. And then because you're cooking for yourself, it's like you have the ability to comfort and care and nourish yourself. So, you know, this goes back to you being, you know, looking after yourself, taking care of yourself, realizing that you can control your own happiness and you can control your own stress as well. So it's really kind of empowering yourself to look after yourself during these stressful times as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, those who can or feel like they can or don't have the willingness, I mean, it'd be so recommended to either work with somebody with that too and encourage each other, because we do need each other in the end, especially more than ever with this kind of force, you know, quote unquote separation from each other, which is very unfortunate. So may take you being able to do it and knowing how to do that for yourself, like you're saying, or somebody to partner with at least, you know, and figuring out how to do that. And Selina, just to conclude this really, really insightful conversation with you, what would be your Irish wisdom phrase going into 2021? What would be your morsel of advice for people out there to just feel emboldened, passionate, and kind of in a way look forward into something new and hopefully fresh of 2021? You know, what would be like your little nugget for them?
I think it's just tuning. Yeah, I think it's just really finding yourself, what makes you feel good. You know, so use kind of 2020 as a little self-exploration and then take this into 2021. You know, because this is what winter is all about. Like winter and retreat kind of themes are all about going inside and finding out what we can do in the spring, and then we put it into practice in the spring, and then by the summer, you know, it'll flourish. So it's like kind of taking your seeds of wisdom that you have found in like 2020 and even in winter time now, and taking these ideas and just running with them in the springtime. So like spring is your seed, spring is your time to grow, you know. So it's like, yeah, taking your seed and running.
Yeah, No, absolutely. And I completely agree with that. And it's just, you know, I think in a weird sort of natural way, there is this end time of kind of the, like you said, the winner's the reflection. The winner's like, okay, let's analyze everything that's just gone on this year, and then taking, again, that seed, planting it, letting it grow, run with it, whatever the right metaphor is. But it's just kind of hunkering down now and just getting ready for that new thing to come into next year, and obviously this year is so particular with what the virus has impacted each and every one of our countries to varying degrees, and in many ways it's out of our control, but it's really the transformation, let's say the ways in which we innovate, we transform, and go ahead despite what's going on to make our lives and ourselves the best way it can be, So Selina, I want to thank you so much for being on this incredibly insightful episode of SpirLift. And where can our viewers and our listeners find you?
So at the moment, the best place to find me would be on Instagram or my Facebook. I do have a website, but it's going through its own evolution at the moment. So Instagram or Facebook is the best place to find me.
Okay. And we'll include all of your information in the description of the video if you're watching, and also in the notes of the podcast format, so they'll be able to find you, no problem.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Selina, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.